What up, what up, what up? New York Giant Nation, it's your boy Mac the Giants fan, and this is the true blue aftermath.
You want to be great, you got to work at it, right?
What is going on tonight? What is going on out there, everybody, man? Tough one. Another tough one for the New York Football Giants. At least we didn't go out there, but they did go out there and actually look like a competent NFL football team tonight. They did not go out there and just get embarrassed by one of the better teams in the league. They went out there and they held their own, and a couple of boneheaded things.
Still
We
looking
can
for a touchdown.
boneheaded mistakes that kind of cost them, bit them in the ass. Not being able to score touchdowns is reared its ugly head again tonight. I mean, at the same time, the effort I saw out here by this New York Giant team tonight was something better than what I've seen all fucking season. So, at the end of the day, look, the better team, I suppose, won the game technically. But the New York Giants came out here. They came out to play tonight, and that was at least a good thing to see. Didn't just come out here and get blown out the building. Didn't come out here and embarrass themselves. But like I said, they got to figure it out. They got to clean up some of the boneheaded mistakes at the halftime, at the end of the second quarter. That's not acceptable right there, man. That is not acceptable. That was absolutely terrible. I mean, to come away with no points right there in that situation, not even the field goal. That can't happen against a team like this Buffalo Bills team. And like you heard Chris Collinsworth say right late at the end of the game, you kick that field, you get at least that field goal in that situation. Then the end of the game situation is we're talking about something completely different here. Talking about a field goal for the win. So that mistake right there, that's not one that I mean, Tyrod went out and played admirably, definitely did, but that right there is gonna that's gonna stand out, man, as a big one right there. Adam, what you got, man?
Man, it's what losing teams do, man. They make mistakes at critical junctures in the game. Those critical state mistakes usually come back to bite the losing team in the ass. In this case, the Giants. Bad offensive execution when you get the ball quickly on a. I don't know if it was a turnover, but I know it was the Bills had just gotten the ball, giving you the ball back, and you go down there to basically get a 2-for-1, as they like to say. You score there, and then you get the ball back and come out. I think three things changed this game: that play, and then the drive where they, um, couldn't get any points out of their long third quarter drive, basically a field goal instead of a touchdown. Like, what are you doing there? You try to go for it to be up, but of course they kick the field goal, and then what does Josh Allen and company do? They go right back down the field. Throws an amazing play for a touchdown. I thought the Bills scored a little too early. I thought they should have just went for the first down. Tried to milk more clock, but you never know what you never know. Defense, admirable job. Still would like to get a little bit more pressure on the quarterback, but can't complain too much. You did what you needed to do to keep the team in the game. It's not your fault. The offense is inept and cannot score a touchdown. Our star tight end barely gets featured in the game. I don't know if he's washed, but he looks washed. He looks like man, we need to do more of that. Tyrod Taylor, admirable game, like you said. I thought he moved the offense well when he had chances. Still need to put some points on the board. You can't beat teams like Buffalo scoring field goals. Back-to-back games with the Giants, they've scored 9 points offensively. That's not going to cut it. Next week, that's not going to cut it. The week after that against the Jets, that's not going to cut it. So, Giants are a losing team. Let's be honest. They're basically their season's all but over. With 5 losses, the chances of you making the playoffs are 4%.
I mean, like you said, man, this like Miz just said there in the chat. What's up, Alex and Miz in the chat too? Appreciate y'all brothers coming through, man. But like Miz said right here, man, losers find ways to lose, man. Like this loss here, this why this one stings because we've come grown accustomed this early part of this season to the New York Giants is going out pretty much making a fool of themselves and getting embarrassed. But this New York Giants team tonight came out ready to play. They came out and they fought and they fought to the end. But it's just those other just boneheaded mistakes within the game, man. Just the worst times, it's just killed
It
this
looks
team
like a
tonight.
rookie team out there, man. It looks like a rookie team out there. Even with Tyrod Taylor, you would think that Tyrod would have his head in the game. He changed the play, which I don't necessarily mind the change of play because Eli did the same thing to win a game in 2004 where he was going up against the Cowboys inside the 1 yard line. He changed the play up against the Tiki Barber. Well, in this case, a run is not necessarily the best play there, obviously, but he changed to it because he saw something in the defense. And you gave him that autonomy to do that. So, he has to make the call there. He made the call. It didn't work out for the Giants. And, that was one of the turning points in the game. But this is a losing team. And you can feel the losing keeps going. The Giants find new ways to lose games. Like, we could say moral victory.
Yeah,
We could say moral
this
victory.
team needs real victories, not moral
Right,
victories. They need
right,
real victories.
right. But
But I was going to just say real quick this, but that play because Tyrod Taylor is a veteran quarterback in this league, man. He has to know better. 14 seconds, no timeouts, man. You can't you can't audible to a run in that situation, especially at that juncture in the game. The run game had been going absolutely nowhere anyway. Up to that juncture in the game, Barkley only had. I feel like maybe at that point he might have had like about maybe 12 yards rushing at that point in the game. Like that, that wasn't. He just has to know better than that situation. Like he could have an opportunity to get at least a couple more shots to the end zone, and then we could have still settled for the 3 points if that's what it came down to. You just got to get points there. You can't go in that drive in that moment and leave with no points. Walk into that locker room. That was absolutely. I kind of just knew that was going to come back to haunt us tonight, and it absolutely did. But
I
real
think
quick, man,
I
what's
think
going on, Stephen Bloom in the chat? No mess, no nest, no jest. Thanks for coming through, bro.
this loss is crushing because when you get your railroaded or the doors blown off, you're like, all right, the game's over at like halftime or whatever, right? But when you're in this game and you're in it to win it and you're down there moving the football, right? And you have boneheaded calls and mistakes that cost you football games, this team is nowhere near ready to compete. And when you have, like the Buffalo Bills obviously took us lightly, and a lot of funky stuff happened in the NFL. But at the end of the day, I expected us to lose. Obviously Vegas didn't get it right, and we can talk about the refs all you want, but bad teams don't get calls. That's just what happens. It's like in the NBA. If you're a bad team and you're playing superstars, you're probably not going to get calls, and that's what happened with the Giants. And
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
pressure.
But that's what I was talking about when you were talking about the pressure. You want to see more. You would like to see a little more pressure. I'm letting you know straight up. If you go back and watch some of these tape, man, that's why that was what was hindering some of the pressure was the Buffalo Bills linemen holding on for dear life. And I mean, I'm not saying you got to throw flags every single play, but at the end of the day, there was some flags that the referees were holding back on some
Well,
of those plays
look.
and like I said, and I don't get mad unless it's absolutely egregious, something that is no excuse to miss,
But
and that's what I'm talking about. I was seeing things that is no excuse for them to miss,
and I, and
but at
I,
the end of the day,
I don't doubt what you're
go
saying.
ahead.
I don't doubt what you're saying. But we lost, and we can't. When we lose, we can't just say, "Well, the rest." You got to go out and win games. You had your opportunities.
No, I
There was
agree.
plenty of
I agree. The
opportunities.
opportunities were still out there.
You shut them out
Opportunities
for
were
three
still
quarters.
out there.
3 quarters, you shut them out.
Referees gave at the end of the day. The same referees I'm complaining about gave us another big opportunity right at the end of that game. All we had to do was get one fucking yard.
3 feet.
Okay, and we couldn't fucking do it. So at the end of the day, the same refs I'm talking about did give us a big opportunity late in that game, right at the end of that game, with no time on the clock, and all we had to do was get 1 yard, and we couldn't do it. And that just tells you everything you need to know about the story about the New York Giants this season right
And
now.
this,
But I want to talk about a little bit of positives, man. I'm not going because it was some positives in this game. Defense played very, very well. And by the way, for everybody that said defense played so good last week, no, this is what a good defensive performance is. What the Giants did tonight.
Yes,
They to hold the
exactly.
Buffalo Bills, to hold this Buffalo Bills team to 14 points. This high-powered offense led by Josh Allen held this team to 14 points in their home stadium. This is what a good defensive performance is. Bobby Okereke, man, this dude right here tonight, all over the field, man, making plays everywhere. And so I gotta acknowledge the level of play that Bobby Okereke came with tonight. True leader out there. True leader out there. These guys just had to fight. They kept fighting all night long. Another turnover. I mean, this is looking. I mean, if this defense can keep this kind of level of play up, then maybe they can keep us in some ball games too, and maybe this season won't be quite the shit show that we were all thinking, man. This offense just got to figure out a way to get it together. Offensive line, whereas you did play your best game of the season, I'm still got to call like I see it. It still wasn't necessarily a good game for the offensive line. They just they did play their best game they played all season, and they did give a lot more opportunities to the quarterback and to the run and in the running game a little bit more opportunities were out there tonight. Offensive line. So like I said, I'm not going to just beat y'all up this week. You guys did, come out, play with a little more pride, even with the adversity, losing to Zudu early, had to kick Justin Pugh out the left tackle and bring McKeithen back in, who had gotten benched. And these guys, for the most part, they looked like I said, still not a good offensive line. But it was still pretty bad. It was still rough out there, but it was better. It was definitely better.
I don't know if we get Andy Thomas next week. Schmitz. No one said anything about their progress. They weren't even on the field
Yeah,
last. So
yeah.
until I see
Well,
them on the
Andrew Thomas
practice
was on the
field,
sideline. I saw it, but they're not getting. They're not
practicing. Yeah,
practicing,
I
not
mean
doing shit. So
Daniel Jones claims he's coming back next week. I mean, he didn't even practice all last week. These guys got to get on the field before we talk about them coming back. The season is all but over right now. I don't care what anybody says; it's all but over. Okay, start to think about the future. Dory Jackson gets injured. See if somebody needs it. See if there's some assets you can trade. There's no C on Saquon Barkley's chest. He don't want to be here. Get rid of him. Okay, get rid of him. All right, I'm sorry, it's over. You don't you don't have a C on your chest. They label you as a captain, and he fought hard, but I feel like he wasn't Saquon Barkley tonight. I know he's playing injured, but I'd rather have you healthy and give chances to Eric Gray than come out there and play on one leg and possibly injure yourself more or get beat up or banged up. Like, I don't know,
I
man.
agree with that. I felt like they were working him like as if he's just been prime Barkley in all season, hasn't missed a beat or something. The way they were turning around and handing the ball off to him, they were feeding him a rock a lot more. And I would have liked to see them introduce, use a little more Breida, Eric Gray out there a little bit. So I definitely agree with that. But at the end of the day, Barkley made a couple of big plays on that drive.
Yeah, that led us to 3 points.
All we could do was get a field goal, led us to 3 damn points because our coach didn't believe in us getting inches in that
Right.
situation.
Well, first off, our coach, I think he got the memo saying, "Oh wait, we're 1-5. Let's not score here. We need the quarterback next year." But dumb teams do dumb things at dumb times. That's what happens when you're a losing team. Dumb teams do dumb things at dumb times. Giants had some dumb fucking mistakes here. Mistakes that are menial mistakes that you don't expect a quarterback of Tyrod Taylor's ilk to make. And obviously, you can't give up points. That throw by Allen was absolutely amazing, but you can't give up 14 points in the fourth quarter. It was only a matter of time when Buffalo was going to wake up. Buffalo had their chances. They played a sloppy game. This is the type of game that the Giants won last year and are losing this year. And again, it doesn't get easier from here on out. I know that we want to look at the Commanders and say, hey, we can win that game. They're 3-3. They're looking at us like, hey man, they're 1-5. We got to beat this team to keep our things Jets are going to be off a bye week, and their defense destroyed Jalen Hurts in the best offensive line of football. So it's not going to be easy. But what you did see here is
I
that
don't
the
get it
defense
twisted.
can play. Huh?
I was gonna say don't get twisted with don't get it twisted with the Commanders. They're coming out next week. They're gonna be coming out swinging, man. The Eagles lost today. The Cowboys could potentially lose tomorrow night. That brings a whole lot of new life into the Commanders season, man. They're going to be
Right,
coming out
right,
with everything they got next week.
right. Exactly. And they kind of had a bounce back game against Desmond Ritter and company and Atlanta's defense. And you can't just expect to go in there and think that Sam Howell's going to have a bad game. You got to go in there and play hard. Like, this was a great defensive effort. By if you can take anything away from this, and I know that this is a losing mentality, but if you go back and you watch the film, you're like, yo, we were right there. We were right there with arguably the best team in the AFC, right? And arguably, I mean, there's 3 or 4 teams in the AFC who probably could be representing in the Super Bowl. The Bills are one of them. And this is what happens when you play a winning team. They win ugly. They find a way to keep going, and they make you work hard. That's the problem when you don't score touchdowns. Because when you score field goals, you're allowing the other team to just wait, and boom, this game could have been over at 10-9. You know what I'm saying? That's how this game could have went. And the Giants did what they could, but the defense got gassed and broke down a little bit, and injuries galore. This team got banged up. There will be a lot of guys on the injury report next week as well. You know, I don't know what to expect these days. I would say start to trade some of your assets. I know you want. I know John Mara's up there and giving that scowl and like, nah, and I want to win these next 2 games, dude. You're out of it. 1-5. There's not. You have the hardest strength of schedule coming up here. You still have to play the Eagles, who just lost the game. Who knows where they'll be at in December. The Cowboys are going to be fighting for the playoffs. Commanders twice. You have the Raiders, who just won a game. All these teams are 3-3 and above, and you're 1-5. They're all coming, and they're all going to look at you, and they're all going to try to find a weakness against you. And it's all on the line. While they did well against the banged-up Bills defense, that Bills defense misses Matt Milano. That was truly, truly a blow to them. They're going to have to overcome that. Von Miller's going to have to get healthy, but tough.
Yeah, but I don't know that like I said, that last play call, man, it's bothering me. Like I said, in that situation, I just feel like that's the time when you do have to put the ball in your best player's hands, man. You just gotta at that point in time, now you gotta say, okay, take us home, Barkley. Remember Tennessee last week,
Right.
last year?
Exactly.
Like, take us home, Barkley. That's the moment you put that ball in his hands. It's an untimed down. It's the last play, regardless. So there's no factor now here. And you just got to put that ball in his hand, let Barkley sell out, do whatever he got to do to get that yard, and get that touchdown and get that win. And this I just don't get it, man. I feel like that play call, you set yourself up where that was literally your only option was to throw that ball up to Darren Waller. So it was like it was either gonna be there or it wasn't. And look, we can argue the semantics on the play. Yeah, it was definitely some defensive holding going on that play. The referees just put us on the 1 yard line. They just put us on the 1 yard line to let the play before that with a penalty. So I mean, you can't really truly expect a back to back calls there. You know what I mean? You couldn't expect to just get that call in that moment, man. So I just feel like I don't know. The play call to me is still scratching my head a little bit, man. You got to give yourself more options than that.
Are you talking? You're talking about. Well, see, the thing is this: Chris Collinsworth said it best. 2 plays at the goal line, zero touchdowns. 2 plays at the goal line, zero touchdowns.
Exactly.
Okay, that's the difference in the ball game.
Exactly.
Your team, the reason why this team stinks is not necessarily defense. It's offense can't buy a friggin' touchdown. You can't buy the last touchdown they had was against the 49ers, which was it seems like years ago, but was only like 3 weeks ago. And that was, and I know that was in September. This is grim, man. This is the time where you need to start really self-scouting and say, look, we know what the problems are of this team. We obviously know that, we can't score touchdowns. And even with Tyrod Taylor, who was a little bit more aggressive this week, who you can tell the difference between him and the other quarterback when he threw the ball. Darius Slayton, there were some plays to be made. Slayton also is let's get rid of that guy. I'm sorry. We talk about Darius Slayton. That guy does nothing. Okay, he's done nothing. Isaiah Hodgins done nothing. The only guy I would keep on offense, to be honest with you, is Wandale Robinson. That's the only guy I'll keep on offense. And even him, we didn't hear
Well,
him. We didn't even go to him at the end of the game. Like, why are we not doing a bubble screen to him at that last play of the game? Why are we not running him out of the
that's
backfield?
what I mean.
Like,
That's what I mean. You gave yourself like no options on that last play. It was just Waller or bust on that play. Like that
I
was it.
guarantee you, if that were Eli Manning, it'd be a touchdown. No, the Waller, that's for sure. He
I
had that.
mean,
I feel like Larry Donnell. Remember that year where he beat the 49ers?
I was at that game. I
Yeah.
was sitting right in that end zone, right when that touchdown happened. I watched so many people walk out that stadium pissed off and early, and then they were trying to get back in after the fact. I was there that night,
that
Sunday night football, man. I remember that. That was
that
yeah.
that's what it seemed. Well, the same scenario. That's what it seemed like because like this is the difference between. I hate to say it, having a big time player at that position and having guys who are backup. I expected more out of Tyrod Taylor, but I thought the game was over when the Bills had the play in the end zone. I would never have called that play if I was in the as an official. You just can't leave it to that. That's just not fair to the players who worked hard to get in that position. It wasn't an egregious holding call. You know what I mean? Like he held him at the top of the route, he held him, but then the ball came and drifted and they did the same thing. The Buffalo did the same thing that was Darius Slayton the other day. They weren't even turned around. They put their hand up and knocked the ball away. So, reps, the problem I have with reps and the problems I have with the NFL is it feels like, I hate to say it, the fix is in. When you have Caesar Sportsbook and everything like that, the fix is in. And how come all these games end up like, look at the Jet game. The Jet game should have been over a long time ago. But they kept putting penalties and penalties. It was finally the Eagles just gave the game to the Jets. And it was like they couldn't do anything about it. In this game, there were penalties after penalties, and there were some offsides on that. Listen, I didn't want to talk about the officials, but we had some false starts that we got away with as well, too. So I know that we want to talk about the holding calls. Justin Pugh jumped off sides a couple times, but they let him go. So I'm like, it was just a bad officiating crew altogether. Tough game, man. This is one of those ones where if you wanted to turn your season around, this was the game to do it. You win this game, then you have 2 games against Commanders and Jets, more winnable games. And now I think you just got to think to the future and say, listen, man, punt the season, punt the season. No point in trying to win. Our point differential is ridiculous. We've scored 9 points offensively in 2 games, 18 points.
It's terrible, man. I just yeah, I just don't get it with this squad, man. It's offensively why we're so offensively challenged is beyond me. Well, it's what it is it's just the I don't know because we thought Waller was going to be that big time playmaker, and it just doesn't seem to be working out, man. And
He's
there, like you
washed,
said,
bro.
Darius Slayton, he had a couple of big catches. He did have a couple of big catches tonight. But at the
But,
end of the day,
but
that one late in the game, when you got to man up and be stronger than that other guy, than that guy, man, you got to make a play in that moment. I mean, it's fourth down, it's do or die moment, man. It's
but
those are
in
the times when you have
typical
to really step up and make those plays, man. I know I get it was good defense, but that's what the great guys do. That's what the AJ Browns and the guys like of that caliber do. They make those plays, man. I know obviously he's nowhere near in that category, but at the end of the day, this is what I mean. You got to step up and make a play, man. And we're not getting enough of that with this offense. Like I said, the fact that we kicked 3 field goals in this game and still stay competitive with the Buffalo Bills is an absolute testament to the defensive performance tonight, man. But this offense got to get their shit together,
Well,
man.
we can talk about him
They
being
really
held all we
do.
want. They're going to miss plays. Last year, we could have lost our whole playoff team with Darnay Holmes holding in the end zone for the Redskins last year. I mean, the problem is we're a bad team when we can't overcome mistakes like that. And when you're a bad team right now, I literally got texted by a friend of mine who goes, "What happened on that play?" I said, "That is the downfall of the Giants right there. The play at halftime, when the defense held for Buffalo and they didn't get any points, that was it. That was me. I'm saying this is the game. Somehow, somewhere, we're going to lose this football game. That was the point. And as much as Buffalo kept giving the game back, 2 turnovers they had. We won the again. We win the turnover battle and we score 9 points. Again, we win the turnover battle and score 9 points.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I mean, we had 5 turnovers in the last 2 games, and we ended up with 18 points of a 5 fucking turnovers.
Well, look, Stephen Bloom, because see you very. I get it. I understand. I follow you, man. Look, it was definitely holding on that last play, man. But we got to take it out of the referee's hands. That's what you got to. You got to take it out of
But
the
you
ref's
know they're
hands
not
at
calling
that
that
point,
on that play.
regardless.
They already
So
called the game they already called the game with that one penalty. They're not going to do it again. So regardless of what happened, they're not going to call that play again because they just did you a favor and gave you the game. The fact that you were dumb enough to throw the play again and not even a good pass, didn't even give your a guy like Waller a chance to get the ball, right? A chance to get
I
the ball.
mean, throw
It,
it up,
like
put it up there for him to go get it. Like put it up
I mean,
there.
he put it
You
up
put
there,
it
but
and play.
he put it up there with one hand. The guy's getting pushed out of bounds. It probably is not coming down with it, regardless, even if they don't hold the ball. Because when he lands, his body's out of bounds. I mean, Brian Dable, you look like a rookie head coach right now. You're doing all the wrong things. I know you're yelling at your. I get you're yelling at Tyrod Taylor, but I blame you if you gave him the option on that play to change the play. You, as the play caller and the head coach, should have been like, run this play. That's it. You don't give them the option there. When you give them the option is you give them the option
Well,
now at that play at the goal line where you're like at the goal line. Like if you see something, turn around and hand it off. Okay, great. Then you do that check play, and now everyone knows to go into a run. In the halftime, you say, listen, we're going to pass it. If it's not there, throw it in the back of the end zone, and then we're going to live to kick the field goal. Instead, what do? You call a run play, which again, if it works, he looks like a genius. If it doesn't work, he's a goat, and that's what happened.
I mean, I agree, man. I think just at that point, a run option that should have never been on the table, regardless. So you're right. I mean, at some point, you got to hold the coaches accountable for that as well. But like I said, I can't.
I can't take full
I still
credit.
can't defend Tyrod. I still can't defend a veteran like Tyrod Taylor not knowing better in
Well,
that situation with
I can't say
14 seconds, man. With
I can't,
14
but
seconds, you know you're not going to get an opportunity to clock it at that point if you don't
but
get
they were
that
at the
ball in the
one
end
yard
zone.
line. They were at the
Well,
one yard line.
you were, but you got to know go with the flow of the game. At that point in time, we were not running the ball well in the game,
But
and
listen, I can't put it all on him because if you're the quarterback and they're giving you the autonomy there, right? You don't have the robot there in Daniel who would have ran the play as called and possibly got a field goal here just because of his roboticness, right? Tyrod Taylor saw something in the defense that tipped him off that they may be in a run play. So if you're going to be the coach and give him the autonomy of that play, and say, "Listen, we trust in your hands." Well, then I can't be mad that he changed the play. I can just be mad that you made him have the option to change that play. It means you gave him the autonomy to do it because you said you're a veteran here. Call the play. Now Tyrod's looking at it like this: if I get this handoff, Barkley goes in. We're up 14-0 going into halftime. Probably that's the game right there. Instead, what happens is you run the football. You make a mistake. Somebody misses a block. I forget who missed the block, right? They get
could have
tackled.
been.
They get tackled, and the thing about it is too. And this is the worst part is that you had an option for 2 plays. You could have done a pass in the back of the end zone, right? And then you could have just if that didn't work out, you would have had at least a chance to spike it. When you ran the football, you eliminated yourself a chance of doing anything. They couldn't even get up and get the clock the ball. And
No,
again,
not with
those
14
mistakes.
seconds.
Right, but that again, I blame execution because that's some Dayball who's supposed to be buttoned up practices. These are scenarios that they go through in the game. It's not like this is not year one. Line up, get going. They do this in practice all the time. You've been there, Mac. You played football. Back in the day, your 2 minute drill, your 2 minute offense.
Absolutely.
I can't. I want to blame Tyrod. I'm sure if it was Daniel, I'd give him more blame. I'm blaming Tyrod, but I'm also blaming the coach here. I'm blaming all three all three. I'm blaming Kafka for the stupid play call at that point. I'm blaming Dable for allowing that to happen, and I'm blaming Tyrod Taylor for not having the wherewithal to just use the play as called.
I mean, yeah, it's disappointing. It's disappointing to go out there give it everything you got against, like I said, a good Buffalo Bills team and come up short in that way. I mean, this loss does hurt almost just probably does kind of hurt a little worse than the blowout losses where we were just getting blown out the
because that's what
building.
we expected.
Because this one is exactly what we expected. It's not what we got. And I mean, we watched our team fight tonight. We actually, I mean, this New York Giant team actually showed some signs of life tonight. Like they really went out there and really, I mean, they wanted W. They went out there, they wanted to play, they went to war, man, and they still
How
came up
much?
a little bit short.
How much do you think Dayball's influence helped Wink Martindale, knowing that offense, knowing where it came from, knowing the personnel?
I mean, possibly because the defense was on the spot tonight, man. Defense was on point tonight, man. They really were. I mean, you can say what you want. They got worn down late in the game, the fourth quarter, the two touchdowns, two big touchdown drives Buffalo had in that fourth quarter. But I mean, this is the Buffalo Bills. This defense held up pretty much the whole night and went toe to toe with the Buffalo Bills, man.
Showed up on
Yeah,
prime time. Took us a
and I
while,
want to
but
talk
I mean,
about one more bad call because it's really pissing me off. But not even just from this game; it's just a league wide thing. That was not roughing the passer on Bobby Okereke against Josh Allen. That's absolute the bullshit I'm talking about too. That
yeah.
was absolute nonsense. That call, and it's not even just in this game; it's all league wide, man. They're making this game soft, man.
But what do you
They're making
expect?
it almost impossible to play defense anymore. You can't do shit. It seems like I said, they might as well just be putting flags on these offensive players, man,
They will one
because
day.
it's absolutely ridiculous, man. That was not that play, and I guess Josh Allen had to go out for a couple of plays or whatever he went out for under the tent real quick. But that was not roughing the passer by no means, man. Referees, you got to get y'all lives together with that, man. That was a joke. That was a joke when you threw that flag, and that actually gave the Buffalo Bills a little bit of a spark, a little bit of momentum. They didn't cash in, but they didn't cash in obviously at that in that moment, but they gave them a little bit of signs of life as well, man. It's that's one of those moments where you're like trying to ignite this Buffalo Bills team
I think this might have
with
been
a
the
bad
backbreaker.
call some way, man. You
This
said
could be
what?
this could be the backbreaking loss of the year because you were in the game. This was basically I felt like your season was on the line here. I mean your season's been on the line since basically week one, but every game you're like, all right, San Francisco, whatever, this, that, and the other. But there's been games like Seattle. You lost that game. You could be in it. You could be in some of these games. And the one game that we expected you to get absolutely railroaded in, you're in all the way to the end, to the last 3 minutes of the game. And it takes a defensive stop and a stupidity on the goal line. Like, you know what it is? It's a team that doesn't know how to win. Like we thought
Yeah,
they knew how to win last year.
yeah,
It's a team that doesn't know how to win because a team that knows how to win takes the points there. Look at what Buffalo did. They tried to take points. The field goals were missed. Those are things that happen. You can't expect every field goal to go in. But when they had a
yeah,
chance to take points, they did. Now they could this game could we could have not been talking about this if Dawson Knox comes up with a catch. If Josh Allen throws that ball slightly higher, it should have been caught by the tight
well,
end.
yeah,
Should have been caught by the tight end anyways. It was in his hands. Like literally, he was on the ground. All he had to do was like hold it. He hugs that ball. We're not talking about this. We're just talking about how stupid. We're talking about the one play. We're not talking about two plays at the goal line. We're talking about the one play at the goal.
yeah,
You know what I mean? But
yeah,
now you do, and here's the thing: this is what throwing the football does to you. When you throw the ball into the end zone, like they did, and I'm so happy they did it because I would have hated to have had a first down and goal at like the 15-yard line and still had to waste all that time trying to score. You finally got a flag in the end zone because what happened? Oh, Tyrod Taylor decided to throw it in past the goal line and you got the flag, and then you get
yeah,
down there and you have the matchup you want. I guarantee you have the matchup you want. The execution was not good. The play call was not good. I would have, that's like the Marshawn Lynch thing in the Super Bowl with Pete Carroll. The guy gets it to the 1 yard line, and you decide, but let's pass it and do a slant route instead. All you had to do was turn around. They gave you the refs who called the bad game the entire game gave a Giants a gift. They said, "Here you go."
yep.
They said, "We fucked up the entire game, and oh, by the way, we're going to fuck up now because we're definitely not going to end it on two back-to-back flags."
Yeah, it's and just want to bring up one more thing before because I'm gonna have to wrap this up soon because I am exhausted. But Jalen Hyatt, man, do you guys understand that this guy can,
Yeah, dog.
actually add something to the offense? Like, what the hell are we do? Have we been doing with him all season, man? Like, he clearly adds something to the offense. This was, I mean, he had his most receptions in this game. I don't think he had as many yards as he had against the Cardinals, but he had definitely had his most receptions in this game. And he just adds a different dynamic to this offense, man. He has to be used more than what he has been getting used, man. I mean, what more does the kid have to do to prove that he that definitely can be a valuable asset to this offense? Like I said, him and like you said, I mean, him and Wandale Robinson to me, as far as in the especially with the as far as the receivers go,
I
that's
want to
it.
see
I
more of
don't.
them. I want to see
Yeah,
more of
that's
them.
what exactly because
Slayton,
those guys
ceiling.
got a little something you can see. They got a little something in them, and
Well,
they have ability to make some plays.
they've got a little dog in them. They got like a little bit of a little edge to themselves where like I don't want to see Darius Slayton anymore. You're bum ass. You're Darius Slayton cry baby looking ass because you can't make a play. Okay, there Isaiah Hodgins. Do we give that guy the ball? I mean, what are we doing with that guy? The guy barely touches the ball,
I
touches the
never even
rock.
saw him tonight. I didn't even
You know, Darren
saw
Waller was on a
him
milk box
tonight.
until the end of the second quarter, until the second half of the game. You know, Barkley. I get. You know why I know why Barkley's injured because where were the passes to Barkley? Where are the throws out of the backfield to Barkley? They don't give me a limited Barkley and put him out there because of a decoy. It worked, but then at the end of the game, at the end of the game when he needed it most, you didn't trust his legs to get you there even though on that drive or on the field goal drive, he gave you a couple of plays. Then they adjusted. A good job by the Buffalo Bills adjusting to that trap run that they were running. I got to give that to them
Oh
because
yeah, yeah.
that was
That was
money,
definitely a good adjustment.
and most people don't make that adjustment in games. I thought Sean McDermott did a fantastic job adjusting on that play. And you know what? I think that, like I said, this is the microcosm of the season. This is the type of game that gets coaches fired. I mean, he's not going to be fired, but that's the type of boneheaded play. Like, thankfully, the Giants are 1-5, so you could expect this catastrophe. But if this was a big time game or a playoff game or something like that, and you ran that stupidity, you know, you get your walking papers. But the Giants are 1-5, as we expected them to be. No surprise there. Just a surprise at how we got there. That's the thing. Like you had a chance to win a game, and that's like I said, Mac. This is what happens when you have a losing team. They find ways to do it. Doesn't matter how flawless we play. Doesn't matter how many freaking turnovers we get. It's just when you're a loser, you're a loser. That's it. That's why when we go on Twitter Spaces, and a lot of people are like, get rid of Slayton, get rid of you know the quarterback, get rid of this guy. That's why. Get rid of the Barclays. Barkley doesn't want to be here anyway. So he ain't got a key on his chest. Get him out of here. You know, Slayton, find the next airplane to whatever team. Get him out of here. Leo Williams. I've seen enough of you too, man. You're fighting people, throwing people on the ground. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Though you're lucky there was other people in those scrapes that could have that made the penalties offsetting. If those were all on you, man, I would have been fucking furious. But it didn't. And this is a microcosm of a bad team.
Yeah, I mean,
Dumb,
I agree.
dumb mistakes, Mac. Not even good mistakes, dumb mistakes. Costly ones that will come back to bite you in the game. You're not a good enough team to overcome these things when you get opportunities. And our inept offense is a problem. It's a real problem. Even with a different quarterback, it's still a real problem. You can say play calling, you can say whatever, but you're not going to be able to win games scoring field goals. You just can't. And the Giants' best player on offense is the field goal kicker.
I mean, yeah, like you said, not against a team like Buffalo Bills, especially. I mean, you got to be able to score touchdowns against teams like this. But guys, man, look, big simple man. Two, thanks for stopping in, bro. Appreciate you. Good win for you, Washington Commanders earlier, man. It's definitely a good bounce back win for y'all, man. We'll be talking about that. Me and Adam will be talking a lot more about that on Wednesday, man. But yeah, everybody, I appreciate y'all coming through for another late night edition of the True Blue Aftermath, man. But I got to get some rest and take my ass to work in the morning. So appreciate y'all coming through. Adam, thanks for coming in, hanging out. once again on the Aftermath, man. Definitely appreciate you. And you can check me and Adam out on Wednesday on another edition of the Real Deal NFC East Roundup. Wednesday we'll be breaking down this game and all the other games in the NFC East, man. The Washington beating Atlanta, the big upset with the Jets over the Eagles, and we'll see what happens with Dallas and the Chargers tomorrow night, man. But thanks
Man,
again. Thanks again,
fourth
you
place
guys.
sucks.
Thanks again, guys, for all coming through, man. Appreciate it, man. Hanging out on this late night edition of the True Blue Aftermath, man. It's your boy Mac the Giants fan. Peace. I'd like to thank you all for listening. If you was feeling this, please take time to subscribe and smack them likes. Feel free to drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to ring that bell so you know when I'm dropping new content. It's your boy, Mac the Giants fan. You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Mac the Giants fan. That's MacDa Giants fan.